Curt Hennig, better known by his ring name Mr. Perfect, was born on March 28, 1958, in Robbinsdale, Minnesota, United States. He was the son of Larry the Axe Hennig, a well-known professional wrestler in the 1960s and 1970s. Curt was introduced to the world of professional wrestling at an early age, growing up around the business with his father, which heavily influenced his future career. Hennig began his wrestling journey in the late 1970s after training under the tutelage of his father and wrestling veterans like Vern Gagne and the AWA. He debuted in 1980 for the American Wrestling Association, AWA, where he showcased his skills and quickly gained a reputation as an outstanding technical wrestler with exceptional athleticism. His high-flying moves, impressive agility, and exceptional wrestling technique made him stand out among his peers. Over the next few years, Hennig would capture the AWA Tag Team Championship with his partner, Scott Hall, and later the AWA World Heavyweight Championship. In 1982, Curt Hennig signed with the World Wrestling Federation, WWF, now known as WWE, where he began to evolve into the character of Mr. Perfect. The character of Mr. Perfect was presented as an arrogant and cocky individual who would boast about his flawless abilities in the ring. He portrayed the role of someone who was perfect at everything he did, whether it was his athleticism, intelligence, or charisma. This persona instantly resonated with audiences and quickly made him a star. Mr. Perfect made his WWF debut in 1988, and his first major storyline involved a rivalry with the likes of Bret Hitman Hart and the legendary Hulk Hogan. During his time in the WWF, Hennig showcased his superior wrestling skills and charisma, frequently winning matches through clever tactics and his incredible athleticism. His infamous Perfectplex finishing move, a cradle suplex, became one of his most well-known maneuvers. His in-ring accomplishments in the WWF were numerous. Mr. Perfect won the WWF Intercontinental Championship twice, first defeating the beloved Bret Hart at SummerSlam 1990, and later retaining the title against many top stars. His feuds with several major figures like Randy, Macho Man Savage, the Big Boss Man, and the aforementioned Hart cemented his place as one of the company's top heels during the early 1990s. In 1991, Mr. Perfect was forced to vacate the Intercontinental Championship due to an injury, but he made a remarkable return to the ring in 1992. During this time, he also began to take on more managerial roles. Hennig would frequently manage stars like Ric Flair, who was a part of the ongoing WWF storylines. However, he eventually left the WWF in 1996 after disagreements over his role in the company. Hennig joined World Championship Wrestling, WCW, in 1997, where he adopted a slightly altered version of his Mr. Perfect persona, aligning himself with the infamous NWO, New World Order, faction led by Hulk Hogan. While in WCW, he achieved success in the ring, including winning the WCW United States Heavyweight Championship. His work in WCW included notable rivalries and matches with high-profile competitors, such as Lex Luger, Sting, and Bret Hart, among others. Despite his success in WCW, his time there was marred by personal struggles, including issues with substance abuse. In 2002, after a brief retirement, Curt Hennig made his return to WWE, where he was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2007, solidifying his place among wrestling legends. Tragically, Curt Hennig passed away on February 10, 2003, at the age of 44, after a heart attack. His death shocked the wrestling world, as he was considered one of the most talented and technically skilled performers to ever grace the ring. He was remembered for his incredible in-ring ability, athleticism, and ability to tell stories through his matches. His legacy continues to live on through his work in the ring, his influence on future generations of wrestlers, and his iconic Mr. Perfect persona. Curt Hennig's career, though short, had an indelible impact on the wrestling world, and he remains one of the greatest technical wrestlers in history. His contributions to the industry will never be forgotten, and he continues to be revered by fans and peers alike. Curt Hennig's legacy extends far beyond his in-ring accomplishments. His contributions to the art of professional wrestling were significant, particularly in the realm of technical wrestling. His ability to work a match with precision and fluidity set a standard for future generations of wrestlers. He was a true ring technician, often praised for his mat skills, selling, and psychology in the ring, which made his matches compelling and entertaining. Beyond his work as Mr. Perfect, Hennig was involved in several memorable storylines that demonstrated his versatility as a performer. One of his most notable roles was as the manager and mentor to young talent. In the WWF, he was part of a managerial role, guiding stars like Ric Flair and later working in a similar capacity with other stars, such as the NWO members in WCW. His experience and knowledge of the business made him an invaluable asset in these roles, helping to elevate his clients while continuing to maintain his status as a top-tier performer. His rivalry with Bret Hart in the early 1990s is one of the defining storylines of his career. Their feud over the Intercontinental Championship not only helped solidify both of their careers, but also produced some of the most technically sound and thrilling matches of the era. Hennig's match with Hart at SummerSlam 1991, where he successfully defended the title, is widely regarded as one of the finest examples of wrestling storytelling and execution. His chemistry with Hart, as well as his natural ability to draw heat as a heel, made him one of the most respected performers in the industry. In addition to his work in WWE and WCW, Hennig's impact on the AWA cannot be overstated. As one of the promotion's top stars, he was instrumental in maintaining the AWA's reputation as a breeding ground for wrestling talent. His reign as the AWA World Heavyweight Champion in the mid-1980s showcased his abilities to work with various styles and opponents, further cementing his status as a versatile performer. Hennig's time in WCW, though controversial at times, allowed him to evolve and work with a different group of wrestlers and personalities, which was important for his overall development as a performer. His alliance with the NWO, though not as prominent as some of the other faction members, still added a unique dimension to his character, providing him with a platform to interact with some of the biggest names in the business. His feud with Lex Luger, which revolved around the WCW United States Championship, was one of the standout programs of his later years, and he added depth and credibility to the United States title during his brief run with it. Outside of wrestling, Curt Hennig was known for his charismatic personality, sharp wit, and sense of humor. Those who worked with him in the locker room often cited his leadership and camaraderie as significant aspects of his character. He was respected by his peers not only for his in-ring work, but also for his ability to work well with others, both in the ring and behind the scenes. Many wrestling legends and future stars, such as Shawn Michaels and Triple H, often spoke of how Hennig's mentorship and guidance had a lasting impact on their careers. Despite facing personal challenges, including substance abuse issues, Hennig remained a beloved figure in the wrestling community, and his influence can still be felt today. His son, Curtis Axel, real name Joseph Hennig, followed in his father's footsteps by becoming a professional wrestler, achieving success in WWE as a part of various storylines and tag teams. While his son never fully replicated his father's legendary career, Curtis Axel continues to honor the Hennig family name with pride. Hennig's tragic passing at the age of 44 left a void in the wrestling world. His unexpected death, which occurred just days after he had appeared in a WWE tribute event, was a shock to fans and the wrestling community alike. His contributions to the wrestling industry were recognized posthumously with his induction into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2007. The Hall of Fame recognition highlighted his enduring impact on the business and solidified his place among the greatest wrestlers of all time. Mr. Perfect's combination of athleticism, charisma, and technical prowess continues to influence wrestlers today. He was not just a performer. He was an artist who elevated every match he participated in. His legacy as Mr. Perfect is one that transcends his time in the ring, as he remains an enduring symbol of excellence in professional wrestling. His commitment to his craft, combined with his natural ability, ensured that his place in wrestling history would never be forgotten. Curt Hennig's name will forever be synonymous with perfection, and his contributions to professional wrestling remain a benchmark for aspiring wrestlers who aim to be just that, perfect. His untimely death may have taken him from us far too soon, but his legacy will live on, both in the ring and in the memories of wrestling fans around the world. Even years after his passing, Curt Hennig's legacy continues to be celebrated and honored in various ways. Wrestling fans and fellow wrestlers still speak highly of his influence and impact on the business. He remains a standard for technical wrestling, and his ability to seamlessly blend athleticism, storytelling, and charisma has set the bar for many future talents. As a result, his name is frequently mentioned when discussing the greatest wrestlers of all time, and he is often included in conversations about the best to never hold the top championship in a major promotion, despite being a multi-time champion in various other titles. Several of Hennig's matches are frequently cited as among the best in professional wrestling history. His match with Bret Hart at SummerSlam 1991 is a fan favorite and is often listed in the top tier of wrestling classics. Hennig's work in tag team wrestling, particularly his time with partners like Scott Hall in the AWA, also stands out, as he was equally adept at working in the tag division as he was as a singles competitor. His tag team run showcased his versatility and further solidified his reputation as a complete wrestler capable of performing in any context. His time in WWE, especially in the early 1990s, has often been referenced as a prime example of how a heel should be portrayed. His Mr. Perfect gimmick was one of the most memorable and distinct personas in WWE history. The character's cocky, arrogant nature, combined with Hennig's flawless execution in the ring, made him a natural foil to many babyface stars. Fans relished watching him get under their skin with his flawless performances, only to be defeated by the heroes they cheered for. His contributions to WWE's golden era of the early 1990s, in particular, were pivotal to the company's success during that time, as he helped elevate both mid-card and main-event talent with his feuds and matches. Hennig's role as a manager and mentor in WCW also continues to be remembered fondly. While the NWO faction took center stage during the late 90s, Hennig's presence and the subtle nuances he brought to his role helped make the faction more dynamic. His time with the group, alongside other legendary wrestlers like Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, and Hulk Hogan, cemented his place in the second golden era of professional wrestling. In addition to his wrestling accomplishments, Curt Hennig's charisma and work ethic earned him respect among those who worked with him. His backstage reputation was that of a professional who was always willing to help others improve their craft, often providing advice to younger wrestlers and those new to the industry. His contributions were not only in the ring but also behind the scenes, where his insights helped shape the next generation of talent. Wrestling greats like Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and others have expressed how much Hennig influenced their careers, and many continue to speak highly of his mentorship and guidance. Curt Hennig's tragic passing left a lasting hole in the wrestling community. His unexpected death, while still leaving many unanswered questions, led to an outpouring of tributes from fans and colleagues alike. The WWE's tribute video and Hall of Fame induction in 2007 served as a fitting tribute to one of the best in-ring performers to ever compete. His impact on the industry was undeniable, and the influence he had on the art of wrestling is felt even today. In 2009, the wrestling world lost another great when his former tag team partner Scott Hall passed away, but Hall had often referred to Hennig as a key figure in his own career. The two shared many moments both in the ring and behind the scenes, and their partnership was one of the cornerstones of the AWA tag team division during their time there. Hennig's mentorship continued to inspire future generations of wrestlers, many of whom sought to emulate his precise and technical style. Hennig's influence also extended to video games, documentaries, and various wrestling-themed media. His portrayal in WWE's video game franchises and the continued airing of his classic matches serve as a testament to his place in wrestling history. Documentaries like The Rise and Fall of WCW and WWE, The Self-Destruction of the Ultimate Warrior feature segments reflecting Hennig's career, his prominence in wrestling, and the lasting impact he had on the industry. In 2020, Wrestling fans around the world commemorated what would have been Curt Hennig's 62nd birthday, continuing to celebrate his legacy with social media posts, fan gatherings, and special tributes. His son, Curtis Axel, continues to represent the Hennig family in the wrestling world, keeping the name alive with pride. Though Axel's career never reached the heights his father achieved, he remains a fixture in WWE, and the Hennig legacy endures through him. In the broader context of professional wrestling, Curt Hennig is regarded as one of the sport's greatest unsung heroes. While he may not have been the most decorated world champion, his technical skills, in-ring storytelling, and ability to connect with fans and colleagues alike place him among the most respected and revered figures in the history of the sport. Through his exemplary work, Curt Hennig, as Mr. Perfect, left an indelible mark on professional wrestling that will be remembered for generations to come.